What's up, guys? Me and JD are back. I actually feel really good today.
Good.
So, like I told you, we're this train is gonna keep rolling. As long as I'm feeling good, we're gonna keep this thing rolling. Hopefully, hopefully, everything keeps going the way it's going. Good news today, JD. Good news. I got personally got some good news. My blood work came back and everything is going. The initial treatments that they did are my I responded well to. So everything is going in the
Thank God,
direction
man.
they want it to go. So hopefully the road to whooping this thing's ass is the train has left the whoop ass train has left the station.
You've opened the can already.
Oh
Now you're
yeah.
just about to eat it. You're whipping that ass.
But we got a lot to talk about, man. We
Oh
got a
yeah, it's
lot
been
to
a
talk
cool
about.
week.
There's a last time I checked, there's a big football game coming up this weekend.
Oh, it's this weekend? Oh wow, nice.
um uh the Bengals and the I can't believe I'm saying that. The Cincinnati Bengals are in the Super Bowl for the first time, I believe, since 1983, I think.
In my entire life, the Bengals have not only have they not been in the Super Bowl, they have never won a playoff game until this year. So that's crazy.
So they're playing they will play the Cincinnati Bengals. So let's talk about them first, right? Let's talk about the Bengals first. What a turnaround, huh? Over the what 3 years now? I think they've flipped this program from a perennial failure to a powerhouse.
Well, it's interesting. It kind of all started with Carson Wentz, Carson Palmer. When we were about 15, 20 years ago, it started with him. They were complete trash. If you remember, like you didn't even know who their starting quarterback was most of the time. If they were complete trash when I was a kid, and then Carson Palmer comes around and he is, a good player, but he could never quite, they just could never really put a team around him. They could never quite get him over the hump with the roster moves. And then once Carson started to deteriorate physically, they had Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton had about an 8-year span where he was, pretty good, kind of like middle of the pack type of quarterback, not bad, not too good, a little bit worse than Kirk Cousins. And then they decided, okay, that's not good enough. So we need to sold AJ Green, sold everybody. They restarted over. They got Jamar Chase, and then they get Joe Burrow. And that seems to be the moment right there, right when they got Joe Burrow. That was the moment where this culture truly changed for the better. But it's been a long time coming. Like they've won a lot of games in the last 20 years. They just never could win in the playoffs or get to the playoffs. Sometimes they'd be in a tough division with the Ravens and the Steelers and even the Browns a couple times. So they've never been the ones, like they've always been the one, like the forgotten about Bengals. Like, oh yeah, they exist. You know what I mean? But they're like the poorest team in the league. So this is pretty amazing. And a lot of people are calling them the team of destiny. The last team they called the team of destiny was the Chiefs. So it's something. What is your initial thoughts on the Bengals after years of failure, decades of failure, finally making it to the promised land?
I just can't believe the one thing that really shocks me is how fast they did it. Like they were bad three seasons ago. They were bad,
super bad. Yeah, absolutely. Even last year they were bad too because Joe Burrow got hurt.
Like they were a bad team.
And really, they're still a bad team if you think about it. Like their offensive line is bottom
terrible.
10. Yeah,
their O line is bottom 6, I think, or bottom 8.
It's bad.
It's bad. Their offensive line is really bad,
and they're still here, and that's a testament to Joe, the coaching staff, the defensive line. I'd say some of the secondary guys too.
Yeah.
A lot, there's a lot of credit to go around, but I think it starts with Joe Burrow.
It's the organization. What's up, Sir Cardinal? What's up, Cardinal? Appreciate you for stopping in, buddy.
What up, Missy?
Missy in the house. Cardinal? Hi, Missy. How are you?
What up, Lissandro? Bill? Shout out to everybody in the chat.
I feel good today, JD. Good news. We like I
Dude,
said,
I'm glad to hear that.
the initial I feel good. So we're gonna, like I said, every day I feel good. We're gonna do this,
Knock it
man.
out, man.
This ain't gonna stop me.
Nah, nothing stops Beantown breakdown, bro. Train keeps rolling in Beantown.
But I that's the one thing that stands out to me with Cincinnati. It's just the speed in which they flipped like 3 seasons. They like you said, the real turnaround. Like Burrow, I think was a huge catalyst to all this. Like they got Burrow, and then the next season, so first of all, Burrow, they get Burrow, and he tears his ACL.
Oh yeah,
because the offensive line is so bad and can't protect him. He was having a really good year that year too. That he got injured.
He started out well,
and I remember thinking to myself, he started off. They were on fire, and I just remember thinking, the worst case scenario would be a Joe Burrow injury. That would be the worst case scenario for them, because the O-line couldn't protect him. And what happened? He tore his ACL. He yanked it. He tore his ACL, and that was it.
And he looks fragile. So, but he's not. I don't think. But he looks fragile. Dude, people were worried.
No, they were worried that he was going to be another like made of glass quarterback.
Right.
The guy, in order to beat the Chiefs, I think he took 9 sacks. He took 9 sacks to beat.
Sorry, that was the Raiders, but yeah, I know it was. So he took like 3 against the Chiefs.
It was the Raider game. All right, so it was the game before that.
He got hit a lot against the Chiefs, though.
The game before the Chiefs game to get to the AFC title game, right? That was the game to get to the AFC. So he took 9 sacks in that game to win that game, and still won that.
Still won the game somehow. Yeah, Crosby had him on his ass for like half the game. And shout out to Ross listening to the Car Boys. Hey, what's up, man?
Appreciate that, Ross.
But yeah, Burrow, it starts with his attitude. He's got this Brady-esque attitude of, like nothing's going to shake him. Nothing's going to stop him. It's all about the victory. It's not about my stats. It's not. And also something that he said in an interview the other day, I was listening to him. He said that
I like his attitude a lot. I like the swagger. I like the confidence. I like it a lot.
A lot of confidence. It's hard not to like him. He's kind of like the kid in school that everybody gets along with, that just, the prom king, but everybody likes him too. He's one of those guys. In Burrow, like one of the things he said that was really interesting is because he's been sacked a lot this postseason just alone, and all throughout the year and throughout his NFL career, he's been sacked a lot. But what he said, they said, are you worried about your offensive line? He said, no, I have, I trust those guys with my life. So like the fact that you've been on the ground is more than probably any other playoff quarterback, and you still are saying that you trust those guys with your life. I mean, I swear, even Brady would probably, a lot of quarterbacks would have said something like, oh yeah, we got to protect me or something. But Burrow, he's not about that noise. He's all about the team. So he says, no, I trust my guys. You know what I mean? Like, I like that attitude, and it inspires your guys around you. Like if my quarterback is saying he trusts me, I better do a good job. Otherwise I'm an asshole at that point. So I definitely like that about Burrow. It's hard not to like that guy.
No, it's hard not to like, just like the way he's cocky. He's cocky, but it's like, you kind of like when you play a position like that, like, and you lead guys like like he just exudes confidence.
Yeah, you just said it though. The difference between cockiness and confidence is success.
Yeah. Well, and through all the adversity too, the guy has just found he never stops battling. You know what? Like the effort from first play to last play it's all like he's a gamer, dude. He's a gamer. And it carries through. Like so they get Burrow, right? They get Burrow, and they that's like piece number 1. You know what I mean? And then the attitude starts to shift, and then they get Jamar Chase the next year. And that was that putting a weapon like that with a guy like with a quarterback like Burrow, and who's not going to be afraid to, to just air it out to, Burrow's not afraid to throw to him and you know what I mean? Like, and let him go make a play on the football. And I like the whole attitude, man. I like the way that team carry. And I like the way that whole team has just taken the whole underdog mentality and rolled with it.
No, me too. Yeah. He has the type of confidence that Brady has to Edelman, that Rodgers has to Adams when he throws to Chase.
Mm-hmm.
He has that immense confidence that, this guy is going to make a play. If I could just put it in a spot where only he can get it, he's going to make it happen. That's something you got to love about Burrow. He definitely, he's as accurate as they come. As for a young guy too, he's as accurate as they come. That's all there is to it. He's confident, he's accurate, and he inspires everybody else. He makes everybody better on the team, including the defense. So that's the type of guy you need to lead your franchise for sure. And it starts with him and Jamar Chase. It really does. Like those two, if like, and that's the thing, he's not afraid to spread the ball around. Something like Rodgers was, scared to go to anybody else but Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Burrow, he doesn't give a crap, dude. If you take Jamar Chase out of the game, he'll go right to Tyler Boyd. He'll go right to Higgins. He doesn't give a crap. He'll spread the ball. He'll run the ball. It doesn't matter. So the Bengals are an exciting offensive team, but
you know what's really impressed me with them though? The D. How well they're.
Oh yeah, the D line especially. They're monsters. They get, they're great. Henson, I think his name is. Yeah, he's a beast.
But you know what I mean? Like, that's something that really surprised me was how well their defense has played in the not just like the postseason alone, but like they just like from the last like 4 games of the season to the all through the postseason. Now their D has figured some stuff out and has played really well.
It's been elite. It's been some, especially in the postseason. It's been really elite, and I think that it's all about like the time of possession and like you give your guys rest. You know what I mean? You don't turn over the ball or anything like that as much, and then and they've made some plays. They made some big plays in this playoff. They've shocked me. I mean, let's be honest. Did anyone have the Bengals going to the Super Bowl? Anybody in the chat?
They were
not me.
They were at the beginning of the season. They were 80-1.
Oh my gosh!
They were 80-1 odds. So think about this: if you were a Bengal fan and you bet them to go imagine dropping like $100 bet. That $100 bet turns into what?
$8,000.
8,000.
800. Oh, 8,000. Yeah, $8,000. I was gonna say it's at least $8,000, right?
So $100 bet can, if they win, can turn 100 into 8,000 pretty quick.
That's nuts. I did not know that. That's very interesting.
But they so let's switch gears now from Cincinnati to their opponents now, the Los Angeles Rams, who basically sold their souls to try and get to the Super Bowl.
Yes, they tried to get back to the Super Bowl. They sold a lot, but what they got in return, I'm willing. Like if I were to bet, I would take the Los Angeles Rams, because what do you think about them? I'll let you go first on that, because it's talent
wise, I'm talking if you're going just top to bottom, talent wise, on paper, the Rams obviously have the overall advantage,
Absolutely.
They have more stars on their team, right? They have more legitimate superstars on their team. But I'm taking Cincinnati in this because they have grit.
Interesting.
Cincinnati has grit and has fight. And you know what? Ultimately, if it comes down to the two quarterbacks having to go blow for blow, and this turns into a shootout, Joe Burrow, I don't think Burrow is going to make that back-breaking, game-changing mistake. I think that's more prone to Matt Stafford. So I'm going to take the Bengals in this one.
Wow, that is fascinating.
I'm going to take the Bengals by a touchdown.
Do you buy into the team of destiny? And what would be your final score?
I am going to go 20. I'm going to go 27. No, 30-20. 30-20, 30-20, 30-21 Bengals.
Bengals. Wow. Okay. So breaking news, everybody. Bobby has chosen the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to go the opposite direction. All right. I'm going to take Von Miller and freaking Aaron Donald, who are two of the top 50 best pass rushers in the history of the NFL. And I'm going to bet that they get to Burrow about 10 times, at least hit him at least 10 to 12 times. They're going to knock Burrow on his butt a lot. And I also think that the line of the Rams are going to hold up. But I am nervous by taking the Rams because the Bengals have been counted out every single week. And they just keep coming back over and over and over. So it's really hard for me to say that definitively. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take the Rams, just especially since you're gonna take the Bengals. I'm gonna take the Rams. And I'm gonna say it's gonna be 35-21 Rams. And the reason that, let me tell you how I got that number. So I predict that Burrow is going to get like a couple touchdowns, but I don't see that run. I don't see Mixon going anywhere. He's going nowhere. That's what I'm going to predict. But that's,
so you think the front seven of LA is going to shut down the running attack?
They're going to shut it down. It's been shut down already. Like Aaron Donald's not going to allow Mixon to do well. So it's all going to be on Joe Burrow. It's all going to be on him. And you know what? He might just freaking do it. But I think that, I don't know, unless what you said is the only way that I think it goes around. Stafford making that big mistake in the big moment. And it's possible. He is a Lion after all.
Dude, he's almost made that mistake twice in the postseason. Almost.
I'm definitely not.
He got bailed out. He's got bailed out a couple of. I'm telling you, man. But I'll say this: if the Rams win, I would not mind seeing Matt Stafford win a ring because the guy's been in the league for 13 years on the friggin' Lions.
You know, on the Lions.
I think he spent 13 seasons in the league with the freaking Lions.
Football purgatory.
That's what, like football prison.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind seeing Matt Stafford win one either. Just because the guy he's a good dude. He's, he seems like a stand-up guy, and he's just that's cruel. Having to play for the Detroit Lions is like cruel and unusual punishment.
It really is. It's not something I would wish upon my worst enemy. I don't think being the quarterback for the Lions or a running back for that matter. Rest in peace, Bobby Sanders or whatever. Or Barry Sanders, sorry.
Yeah, his
Sanders.
Career.
But yeah, rest in peace, his career.
I wouldn't mind seeing Stafford win one either. But I think that big mistake from Stafford is coming though. I think he's going to make a mistake at a crucial time in the game, and it's what ultimately is going to cost. Like he'll throw a pick in like the early third quarter, and it'll put the Bengals will take it and go and score. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I think is going to happen. So I think it's going to be an even game headed into the third quarter. And I think Stafford's going to make either, third quarter, early fourth quarter. He's going to make a mistake that costs them. I do. I think that's because he's been bailed out a lot this year with like costly
defense. I mean,
that's what I mean. He's been bailed out. Stafford has been helped a lot, but like we said when we like I said, they sold out. They pushed all of their chips in this year and said, we're either going to win it this year or we're going to die trying, Yeah.
I mean, they got OBJ and Von Miller in the middle of the season. And another thing to think about that, a lot of people like ESPN, I don't know what's wrong with ESPN, but ESPN, there's a lot of things wrong with them. They seem to think that, it's interesting, actually. I won't even say that they're wrong because I do have a thought with this, but Cooper Kupp. I feel like Cooper Kupp We can definitely talk about that, Bill. Cooper Kupp though is he he's like maybe the greatest. He's like one of the best receivers of all time, or at least he's having one of the best receiver years of all time
Oh,
ever.
he talk about like exploding onto the scene.
And like OBJ is another really good wide receiver. But like if you're what's his name? Jamal Adams,
Yeah.
that one of the best cornerbacks in the league, D-backs in the league. If are you gonna go one-on-one with Cooper Kupp, or are you gonna double Cooper and then go one-on-one with OBJ? What would be your game plan?
So that's interesting though, because
That's the
you know
X
you want to
factor.
know why OBJ is thriving in Atlanta is thriving in LA,
I'd like
because
to
Cooper
yeah.
Kupp draws all the best coverage. So he's
Right.
on it. So they can't not double Cooper Kupp. So that leaves like a CB3 or a nickel,
Yeah.
cornerback to cover OBJ, and that's an immediate mismatch
Oh
every
yeah.
time. So
He's too good for that.
that's why Odell is feasting in LA, because he's not being, if you put him on any other team, he's the wide receiver one, and he's
Sure.
drawing cornerback one coverage. And I think his life would be miserable.
I think he'll stay in LA. I think he's going to sign a longer term deal.
Dude, he will. He will, because I am in 100% agreement, because why would you leave? You have the best matchups you've had your whole career. You don't have to deal with
Exactly.
cornerback ones anymore.
Yeah, that's and like it makes you such a better. It's kind of like when Anquan Bolden joined the Cardinals when they already had
Yeah.
Larry Fitzgerald with Kurt Warner. It
Yep.
was just like like Anquan Bolden had like the best year he had in like 3 years as a wide receiver too, because at least in the end zone, I'm pretty sure, because he got all these open looks. Like Larry Fitzgerald is just like drawing so much attention, and then you also have to worry about Anquan Bolden, and Kurt Warner's going to make you pay. So that's what we're seeing over here, and Matt Stafford will make you pay. He is a good quarterback. I don't know if he's as good as Burrow, but he's good.
Yeah, no doubt, dude. No doubt. It's but that's why like I don't think OBJ is going to go. I think he would even sign an extension if they wanted him for 2 more seasons. I think he would sign an extension. Why would you leave? Dude, every time, if you're OBJ, every time you take the field, you're lining up against lesser competition.
He's old for a wide receiver too. I don't think, especially since you just made it to the Super Bowl, even if you lose, I think you should sign an extension and run this back, because this is a difficult defense, or a difficult offense to deal with.
But he should go nowhere. Cooper Kupp's always going to draw the better coverage. He's what you get every time he lines up. He's facing less. He's facing obsolete coverage that he can beat every time. That's why he's been so successful over there, because the guy's not facing cornerback ones. He's lining up against nickel and dime guys, and he's torching them.
Absolutely. And and it's fun to watch. It really is.
And he knows, this is like good OBJ, because he's like fallen in line. It's like, you know what I mean? Like he's part of the team. He's not, you know what I mean? Like he's not like the me guy that he was in on Cleveland or in New York. The attitude is different,
Mm-hmm.
The attitude's
absolutely.
way different.
Yeah, his attitudes, he's winning, so he's a competitive guy. It's kind of like a guy that we're gonna get to later, James Harden. He's a competitive guy. When you're on a team like Cleveland and like the Giants, when they're losing like crazy, you want to be in a more winning situation. You want to be around guys who are ready to win right now, instead of people who are just learning how to play the game on a professional level. And yeah, like he wants to be in the playoffs every year at this stage of his career. I don't blame him.
I just think it was that. See, that was I had questions when they brought OBJ on. I was like, oh, what's that going to do to that wide receiver? Is he going to mess with that wide receiver chemistry?
Yeah, is he going to ask for too much?
And I also thought it was really coincidental that Robert Woods tore his ACL as soon as OBJ got there.
Yeah, imagine if Woods was still playing. Oh my God, they'd have so much depth. I mean, they do have some depth either way, but
think about that, right?
Even more depth.
like think about that on the field too. They have two really good tight ends. They have that kid Higbee and that kid Tyler Higbee, and then the other young one there too. So they have two good tight ends. Then they have Robert Woods. They'll have Cooper Kupp and OBJ. Like it's like a pick your if they line up with 4 wide or 5 wide, it's like pick your poison.
Yeah.
What do you who do you?
Good luck.
It's a mismatch nightmare. But they did though, man. This is if they don't win this year, I don't know if they're gonna ever be like this was the
they're all in.
Push all your chip. This was their push all your chips to the center of the table year. It worked. It got them there. Can it get them over that final hump? I see. I'm still gonna have to go. I just Burrow and that attitude are good. When you have that refuse to lose, I will not be beaten attitude. Dude, and especially when you get a team like that on a roll. Look at the 01 and 0102 Patriots when they played the Rams. They were riding that wave of momentum, and we were 14.5-point underdogs going into that Super Bowl. We were supposed to get crushed.
That's amazing.
But you know what I mean? That type of momentum that Cincinnati has, that's tough. That's when you play a team like that. That's because since he's playing with house money.
Yes, they are.
And they know
nobody
they
expects anything.
They're playing with house money right now. And that to me is the most dangerous team. When a team is playing with house money and they know they got nothing to lose, I'm still going to roll with them. Like I think that they're going to that momentum's just going to carry and they're going to get it done.
Bold prediction. All right. You guys heard it here first. Bobby has taken the Cincinnati Bengals. I have taken the LA Rams. So we are at odds right now.
It's going to be a fun game, though. This Super Bowl, if you're like, oh, it's not you should watch. You should watch because
everybody in the chat. What are you taking? Who you taking?
Yeah, who are all of you guys taking? I got I'm Team Burrow. Joey Burr.
Joey Burrow. Joey Cool. Joey Cool, man. He's too cool.
One of the funniest, I heard it. They were talking to him. His interviews are awesome. His post games are awesome because he's like, I smoked a cigar after we won the national title. Then he goes, that was my first cigar ever. Then I smoked one after we won the AFC championship game. And he goes, hopefully I get to smoke one more this weekend after we win the Super Bowl. And then somebody asked him about his necklace, if it was fake. And he's like, nah, man, I make too much money for it to be fake.
I mean, he's got the swag. He's definitely got the swag. I mean, he's a guy you want to go into battle with. He's a guy that's for sure. There was this one video that surfaced of him at LSU. It was like I think the day after he was named the starter, and he was just firing people up, just screaming, getting so hyped up. He sounded like Brady.
Yeah.
He was just like, let's go. Come on, you do this. You have to do that. If you're not doing this, he's truly to the core a leader. And I think there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes too when it comes to being a leader as a quarterback. And some guys have it and some guys don't. And he's definitely got it. Whatever it is, he's got it. So he's definitely a leader. So let's see. We got a couple of people.
You want to know why that's huge too? Because big name free agents now are going to want to go to Cincinnati.
Oh, absolutely. They're going to want to.
What if Devontae Adams ends up there?
Rob Gronkowski said he wants to go there.
Yeah.
Dude, he already said that. Like, what if he might not retire?
What if the Bengals win the Super Bowl and then go after Devontae Adams?
They could.
Imagine Jamar Chase and Devontae Adams on the same team.
That would be nuts. They need to. You know what they need? They need to get offensive line though. That's number one. They need to get the O line padded up. So Bill Tortolote says,
yes, let's answer some questions. We got a few in here that we could grab. Yeah.
Well, he's got the Bengals. Bill has a question earlier that he was talking about earlier. Ross says he wants the Bengals to win. Joey's the NFL going forward. Missy wants the Bengals to win. I don't care who wins. I'm just glad the Chiefs aren't in it.
Me too, Luke. Me too.
Oh man.
So let's shift gears, JD, because let's shift gears to the NBA. The trade deadline just passed. The trade deadline just actually, you know what? Hold on. Before we do that, let's talk some Chicago Bears.
Yeah, Bill had mentioned it. Bill had a question.
So let's
about
talk
the
some
Bears.
Chicago Bears. What let me go back up here.
He said, do you think the new Bears head coach can work with Justin Fields, and can he be the quarterback he was in college? So
what do you think?
That's interesting. That's a good question, Bill. So I would say that ultimately, yeah, he could be as dominant as he was in college, because that's the real question. It's not necessarily can he be the quarterback he was in college, because things get a lot harder and faster and better in the NFL. So you got to be better than the quarterback you were in college. You got to be a more dominant version of that quarterback. Yes, he can, because he has all the intangibles of doing that. He's quick on his feet. He moves in the pocket. He has one of the highest quarterback, the test they do. I forgot what it's called. The Wonderlic or whatever. He has one of the highest Wonderlic scores of all time, ever, including he does like the same score as Peyton Manning. So he is as smart as they come. He needs to be challenged. He needs to be pushed. He needs to build chemistry, and he needs some time. And also, he needs some damn protection. Not everybody is Joey Burrow, where it doesn't matter if you have the worst offensive line in the league, you can still just make it happen. Some people need protection. Look at how good Russell Wilson is when he has protection, but when he doesn't have protection, he's not as good. It's the same type of thing. And like Russell Wilson is almost as talented as they come, but not everyone is Tom Brady, not everybody is Joey Burrow. Because I did hear this narrative now, like, oh, Joey Burrow is the only one who took like a lackluster offensive line to the Super Bowl. Nah, Brady's done it like 3 times.
Yeah,
but
Brady's done it multiple times in his career.
Multiple times he's done that, but it doesn't mean it's not amazing. It's very rare. It doesn't happen that much. Most of the time you start with the offensive line and you move, around. So, Justin Fields needs a good offensive line, just like Joey Burrow does in the future. He needs maybe 1 or 2 more receivers, and he needs a lot of time. He needs some reps. He needs he needs an offensive coach, which you asked about the coach, Eberflus or whatever his name is. I can't even say his name. I'm butchering it, I'm sure. But the new Bears coach, he's a defensive guy. He's going to come in. He's going to run his defensive scheme, and then he's going to hire an offensive coordinator. I forgot his name. They already hired it, I'm pretty sure. And he's already fully invested in. I've already watched the press conference. He's fully invested in Justin. He's excited about Justin. So we just got to wait and see. That's really what it is. I want to see what it looks like. Obviously, it's ultimately up to Justin to play well, but you have to give him something to play well with. You have to give him a good O-line and a good defense, and we'll see what he is after that. Then once we have a good O-line and defense, then I'm willing to judge Justin Fields. Last year, I can't judge that. That was a complete mess week to week. I have no idea what I was even seeing. And one thing I'm really glad that Poles said, I think I talked about it a little bit last week, or a few days ago, whenever our last pod was, that he said that's the first thing he said, like as far as criticizing, he said, our offensive line is trash. We need to completely scrap it and get almost all new guys. So once he said that, I was like, all right, you understand the problem.
He challenged, he said, what did he say? He said didn't he say something like everybody's jobs are on the line?
Yeah, he said in the offensive
jobs
line,
are on the line,
no
right?
jobs that are safe. Yep. Yeah, everybody's job. Well, I mean, I would say that applies to everybody, even Justin Fields. But I think Justin Fields, just given his talent level and because here's the thing. Here's 2 things that Justin has that you cannot teach. He scrambles out in the pocket really well. He has really, really good pocket awareness. The pocket's breaking down. Shift. He has Russell Wilson level pocket awareness. And the second thing he has, down the field accuracy. He really is a taller Russell Wilson. What he doesn't have is a team that Russell Wilson had when he first entered the league. Russell Wilson's team when he first entered the league was a bunch of beasts. Marshawn Lynch, of
the Legion of Boom as defense behind you.
And then the Legion of Boom. I mean, come on. If Fields had that, he could develop into whatever you want him to develop into. But that's the thing. Some guys need more time, and I think Fields needs a little bit more time.
Definitely. So let's shift gears into the NBA now. The trade deadline is passed, and man, there were some blockbusters out there. The biggest one, I think, one of the big ones that me and you were talking about. Was James Harden is on the move. He is headed to Philadelphia to play with Joel Embiid. That's so to me, that trade is either going to go really well or really bad. Like colossal, like crash and burn and blow up in your face bad. That is too, like I told you off camera, Harden and Embiid are two massive egos. And but they're also incredible talents too. So if they can coexist on a basketball court, that's dangerous.
Yes, no, it's huge. It really is about as crazy of a trade as it gets. And here's the thing: ultimately, this is a really, really good trade for everybody involved.
It is, yeah.
I mean, this is the best case scenario if you're the Nets. Like, because here's what happened with that trade. I was following it pretty closely. The Nets wanted Matisse Thybulle, Seth Curry, and Andre Drummond and Ben Simmons for James Harden, and who else did they get? I forgot. The other guy who's pretty good. He's actually a pretty good player. He's solid.
A bench player, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's a bench player. They don't even have him listed on NBA.com. But yeah, a bench player who's he's an okay bench player. He's like an eighth man. It's fine. He's a good player. Yeah. Millsap, brain fart. Anyway, for Millsap and Harden, they wanted those four players. And obviously Simmons is a head case. So to me, his value is like half of what it could be. And I'm not trying to make fun of him. Mental health is a serious thing. Absolutely. Like I'm not saying that. But at the same time,
but a lot of his issues were he brought them on himself.
So it's not a typical case of like, when Kevin Love was going through something, depression, DeMar DeRozan was going through something, depression, he had to take a couple games off. That's different than this. This is literally like, all right, so I played like crap. I got criticized.
Creating his own drama.
Now I don't want to play with you guys anymore because you criticized me. That's not really mental health problems. I mean, ultimately,
that's creating your own stupid
thank you,
drama.
the Kerm. He said Paul Millsap. Thank you, Kerm. So he's a whole other thing. But Seth Curry is a really good pickup for them.
It is. It is.
And so is Drummond, and so are the draft picks. They wanted Thybulle, they didn't get him, but they took the draft picks instead.
I think everybody wanted that trade because the Philly offloaded the drama that all that nonsense that went along with Simmons, right? They offloaded that. They got rid of. They opened up some money. And then the Nets win because of the talent return that the Nets. Like they get rid of Harden and they get rid of that money, and then they get the draft picks and the bench and the depth. Like everybody wins. Philly wins because they instantly get better on court. The starting five instantly gets better. Instantly.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. And it sounded like Harden, and this is kind of like Odell Beckham a little bit. Like a lot of people said, he kind of checked out of Cleveland. Well, Harden was starting to check out of the Nets because he was sick of.
You could tell. You could tell too.
Yeah.
He was.
He's starting to check out. He's starting to not try very hard. He was starting to say, "Oh, my hamstring's a little sore," and now he's going to go to Philly and probably be like, "Oh, I'm all better all of a sudden." So that's kind of where he is, and I don't respect that. I don't like that. I don't think that players should do that, but that's what he's doing. He wants to be on a winning team, and he feels like KD's always hurt. But going back to Ben Simmons really quick, what I will say about this Ben Simmons situation, Rick said that Simmons will excel under a change. Maturity is overdue. It's possible. I hope that that's true for his sake. I really do. Because you know what I mean? It's like I wish the best for everyone ultimately at the end of the day. I want to see the best basketball on the floor. I hope that's true. And someone who might be a better leader for Ben Simmons, a better sympathetic person to his mental makeup, basically, I would say is Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, because they both have their issues with the media, with the press, and with criticism that goes along with the league. So you got a team of people who all hate the media, kind of like, all right, it's us against the world. Maybe that will be the fuel that makes Ben Simmons be like, all right, well, I can be part of this team because at least they understand where I'm coming from as a guy who's Yeah, Harden was picked last for the. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, yeah. KD wouldn't pick him because of how he left. I thought that was very funny too, Missy.
That was funny. Yeah.
No, I think this is good though. I think this is good, and it also shows me another thing that Harden couldn't play with KD anyway.
No.
Harden, whenever he was with the Thunder, he didn't play that well with KD. And now that when he was with the Nets, he didn't play that well with KD. So clearly there was something wrong with that matchup, or Harden is falling off, which I don't think that's the case, but maybe. I think it was a matter of effort and fit. And like, so you were talking about, so you got two giant egos though. I want to talk about that. I want to break that one down for a second.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid's ego though it's kind of like Shaq's ego. So I can respect his ego a little bit. His ego is, I don't care about your problems. I'm here to win the championship.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to win the championship. I do not care. So that's why, and I like that about him actually, especially the last 2 years in the playoffs. He was a great leader. I could see the 1 year he got knocked out by Kawhi. You could tell he was still maturing a little bit, and he kind of like was shocked that they were going to lose. And then the last 2 years, he has balled the F out. And he just, well, he had that messed up leg. I think it was like a messed up MCL, ACL. He dropped 44 or something like that the one game in the playoffs. Yeah, with like 15 rebounds, 5 blocks. He's the best center in the league. I don't think there's any question about that. He's the second best big man in the league next to Giannis, in my opinion. And then you add James Harden. And it's like you said, either it's going to be really bad because the chemistry is going to be off, or it's going to be one of the greatest combinations we've ever seen in the history of the NBA. There's like no in between.
There's with egos like that, and with especially with the attitudes that Embiid and Harden have. Like I said, they're either gonna just feed off of each other and feast on people now, or it's gonna be an like epic crash and burn.
The pick and roll game is gonna be freaking stupid.
Dude, absolutely.
Oh my God. Like, what are you gonna do when Embiid comes to pick for Harden? Either Harden drops a 3 in your face, takes you left, takes you right, or he just passes to Embiid and Embiid dunks in your face. Like, if they can master that and get that chemistry going, that's the best combo in the entire league, including LeBron and AD. That's better than LeBron and AD.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see that. I really hope, and I'm looking at Harden, bro. I'm not looking at Embiid. I'm looking at Harden. Like, can you make this work? Because you've been all over the place. You know what I mean? You've had a lot of superstar teammates, but I'm looking at Embiid to make this work, or Harden to make this work with Embiid, because it's Embiid's team. Ultimately, it's not Harden's team. Yeah, it's Embiid's team. But do you think it could work? Like, what do you think? Do you think it's going to work?
50-50 shot. 50-50.
I think so too. I'm with you there. It really could go either way. I could see it going completely either way. What's up, TSR, the Kerm, Enzo? What up, Enzo?
Things are going well, TSR. So I kind of updated everybody at the beginning of the show, but since we got a little more people in here, and I like to kind of just keep you guys along. You know, I try to keep you guys in the loop. I had a doctor's appointment today, and it was yesterday and the day before, they basically started me on my treatment. They are trying to balance off all of the bad levels of my blood and get everything kind of back in order so they can, move forward with a plan of leveling things off to the point where this is going to be present in my blood and just it won't even know it's there. That's the goal. We're trying to get the levels down to where they should be. And they basically pumped me full of some medication for the last 2 days, so the day before and then the day before that, I took 8 hours of treatment. And my body responded well to the initial treatment. My levels of the levels of cancerous white blood cells are going down, and the good white platelets are on their way up. So my body
Great
responded
news.
well to the initial treatment, and the road to recovery is, as of right now, even though it's an early stage, that train has left the station and is moving in the right direction.
In other words, he's kicking its ass.
So far, so good. That's what we're going with right now. So far, so good. So
Hell yeah.
everything looks. They were impressed with how the blood work looked, but
Yeah.
that's how it's going. But let's kind of continue with the NBA stuff. So let's kind of travel down I-90 and head into Chicago, and your boy AK there running the Bulls. They do nothing. They do nothing
Nothing.
at the trade deadline, and I'm gonna be honest. I kind of like the confidence, and I kind of like what he had to say. He just said we're in his press conference. He I like the confidence. What I heard in his press conference, he just said we're gonna just kind of ride this train out, and he was confident with the bench and the setup that he had. So he said I didn't want to make any changes because the chemistry in the bench and our starting five were good, and I kind of agree with it. I think it's going well so far. Why change it?
Yeah, be patient. Build a culture. You got all the guys that you need. We have 3 key guys that are hurt.
Yeah.
And we're still winning games. So the culture is good. The anchors are all there, DeMar and Levine and Vucevic. So the anchors of the Bulls are still there. The core of the team is healthy, and that's pretty much F you cancer. That's right, Missy. And it's like the core of my Bulls are there. They're playing well together. They're building chemistry every single game against lesser teams. And it's really, really fun to watch. I mean, it really is. They're such a exciting team. They're fast, but really the only things they need to compete seriously in the league are already on the bench. They're on the IR. That's Alex Caruso, that's Lonzo Ball, and that's Patrick Williams. So if we can get those guys back in the fold, we can face. I mean, ultimately, I think the Sixers and the Bucks could kick the crap out of the Bulls right now, just objectively speaking. But as a fan, I'm excited. This is the best chance we've had in years. So I'm excited, and I really hope that they make a run this year. And I really think that this is about as good as we're going to get anyway. We don't need to make a huge move right now. I think continuing to build through the draft and continuing to take advantage of really good trades. AK, he knows what he's doing. He's looking out for everybody. He seems to understand this game more than most GMs. So we keep the faith in AK right now. We haven't had faith in our GM in about 15 years in Chicago. So now we do.
I like the confidence. He basically said we're gonna why make a knee. I like what he said. He said why make a knee-jerk reaction when everything's going well.
Yes, we just need people. We need our guys to come back from being injured, and then we'll be back. We'll have that depth like we had at the beginning of the season, where it's just like kick your ass all game from the bench to all 8 guys will beat your butt. So that's definitely exciting. That's exciting. We got a question about the Celtics too, but yeah.
So the C's have made some. Let's head back across I-90 back east towards the coast into Boston, and we'll talk. The Celtics have made some moves. TSR Sports in the house. Shout out to you, buddy. What's going on, Rich? Speaking of TSR Sports, he's a Spurs fan. So the Spurs and the Celtics make a trade. We get Josh Richardson is headed to I believe it's Josh Richardson for
I got it right here. It's
White.
Richardson, Langford, and a first round pick and a first round swap.
And a swap, yeah.
And that's for Derek White. Yep.
For Derek White. Yep. So very good player. Honestly, I kind of like that move. You're trading Richardson and you're trading Richardson and Langford, who Langford has been overwhelmingly underperforming since he got here. He's been hurt. He just um the the expectations for Langford were really, really high when he got here, and I don't think he ever kind of made it and lived up to the hype that the Celtics hoped that he would coming out of college. So they attached him to that Richardson, but Richardson's not a bad bench player either. Like the Spurs are getting
No.
Richardson's a really good, solid bench player. Like he is going to help the Spurs get like bench depth a lot. He's going to help that solidify the Spurs bench depth a lot too. So I think both and the Spurs get another first round swap out of it too. I believe San Antonio now has 3 first round picks this year or this coming draft. So that's going to be huge for them. That's huge for them because they're a young team. You know, they're a building team too. So that's going to work. And both teams, I think, won in this trade. I think both teams got pieces they needed.
So you got Derek White, who's an established veteran, established player, adds depth to that to the Celtics roster. You got and then you have. I think the main thing was the draft pick and the Romeo Langford pickup because I've noticed something about Popovich and the Spurs overall. They like to develop talented young guys who are kind of like forgotten about. Kawhi Leonard, DeJounte Murray, Tony Parker, and now I would say Romeo Langford is another project they want to work on. Derek White also is a guy who not necessarily was forgotten about, but he certainly got better. And for Anthony Simmons, a lot of guys get better in San Antonio. So that's kind of like something that they do. And they kind of build and build and build until they have enough guys to make a run at it. And then they buy free agents.
and then they make their run. Yeah.
And they make their run. It's a really efficient way to win. Really. I mean, that's about as efficient as you can get. And it's exciting for Langford, I'm sure, because he'll get a lot more opportunity. But another thing about this is this tells me that the Celtics have made their decision. For better or for worse, they're going all in on Jalen, at least for this year. And maybe next year too. They're going all in on Brown and Tatum. And they're saying, all right, guys, like we've given you enough. We're going to give you Derek White too. And make your run now. Now you gotta like, you know, start win more games. And they've won a lot of games recently. So they're starting to make their comeback. They're starting to build a little chemistry. It was a bumpy start. You know, it happens sometimes, but they're fighting for that playoff position. And once you get in the dance, anything can happen. Anything can happen. So definitely this says a lot. Like you said, both teams got better in this situation, I think.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah, and also Daniel Tice, to answer your question, Bill, because he asked about Daniel Tice. How do you feel about Daniel
Tice's ability to stretch the court?
Yeah, that helps.
That's what I like. I think he's going to help. I think he's going to help in the stretch game for the Celtics and the speed.
Sure. Oh, yeah. No, I agree with you.
That's and he's pretty good with he's pretty good at moving the ball. He's a pretty good passer as well.
Knows the system.
That's one thing the Celtics have been doing really well as of late. The last couple of weeks is the ball movement has really improved. So I think that was a smart move, and he knows the system. He's been here before. He knows the system. He knows the ropes. I think it was just a smart bench. You know, they needed some bench help. They needed a solid, you know, C+, B- guy, and Tice can do that.
They invested in Robert Williams, so he's their guy. But Tice was always a guy who they liked, so they're bringing him back, and he already knows what to do. So it's really good for the Celtics if they really wanted to make a run. This is the way to do it right here. You add a guy like White, and then you bring back a guy like Tice, somebody who already knows everything. So I agree with you. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. And the Celtics, if they're going to make a run, this is how they do it. I think there's still one more piece away, to be honest with you.
They are.
But
they need
you never know.
They need a legitimate superstar.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
And
they might have to part ways with those two
Unfortunately, I think it's going to take like a Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown trade to get there. That's I'm just because if you want top 15 talent, you're gonna have to give up a lot to get it. You know what I mean? So they're either gonna have to give up like Smart and Jaylen Brown and a pick, or like 3 first-round picks. You can't get talent without giving it.
And honestly, I don't really know who would. Damian Lillard is the only one I can think of, and they do want to sell him, I think, next year or in the offseason. But that's a topic for another day because the deadline's over. So we'll see.
I bet it wouldn't surprise me if the Celtics spend the offseason trying to go after somebody. It wouldn't surprise me because they're still pieces away.
They are. I mean, but we'll see what White does. He could bring more than we think. Like, I mean, honestly, this will be very interesting to see the Celtics if they can make a run at it this year. The East is stacked, bro. The East is freaking stacked.
It is.
So that's interesting. Stacked with a ton of young talent in the East. He said, speaking of which, KP to the Wizards. Yeah, I just want to touch on that quick. So I had that, and then I want to talk about the Lakers doing nothing too. You know what I mean? So let's talk Kristaps to the Wizards. Yeah, so I definitely have something to say about Lakers too, but Kristaps to the Wizards. I love that. I think I have a conspiracy theory.
Not gonna lie, that's a good move for them.
It is. They get Dinwiddie.
That's a solid move for them.
Who can take the ball away from Luka sometimes, let him play off ball. That's really good. They needed a guy like that. They were missing a guy like that. And I think that, Dinwiddie is that guy too. He really is that guy. He's exactly that guy. But I think it speaks further to Luka doesn't like the way that Kristaps plays.
No,
he doesn't. He's like him.
Luka is a fast basketball player, and KP is just too slow for him.
He doesn't like his, where he wants the ball. He doesn't like how he runs the floor. He doesn't like him hiding in the corner. He doesn't like him not posting up. He doesn't like him not using his size. And I think it speaks even further that last night, right after the trade, Luka drops a career high of 53 points.
51.
Or 51, yeah. I mean, if that's not a message, I don't really know what is.
Luka's always been that push the ball, push. And KP's just too slow. Like when you would watch the Mavericks play, right? Luka has a high motor. The guy is revved up all the time. It's all about the speed in which you play the game. And KP slowed him down.
He slowed everything down. And another thing is they talked about in the offseason. I remember this, the Mavericks did. They talked the coaching staff. They're like, we need to learn ways to get, and I think this was just politics. You know what I mean? And Luka said it too. They're like, we need to find ways to get Kristaps involved in the offense. We need to do things for Kristaps. And ultimately they were like, we have Luka Doncic, so let's just run everything through him and let everyone play off of him, like LeBron James, and kind of just have, Luka with another shooter, like Rick just said. Imagine Luka with another shooter. That's what I mean. You just give him pieces to play with, and he'll do well. He doesn't need a post guy taking up too much space. Luka's 6'9" too, so he's a big ass dude. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that. It says a lot about Luka, and I hope I hope that Kristaps has some success in Washington. He might have some success in DC.
He could still play. He's
a
slow.
Good player. He's just not good with Luka.
No,
it didn't. It was ugly. It didn't look good.
There's certain players in this league that don't like Luka and KP's style are completely 180 degrees from each other. KP's more of a slow, let the play develop kind of guy, and Luka's more high motor, revved up. Push.
Luka was so uncomfortable when KP would come out to the top of the 3-point line. Luka
Yeah.
would be like, he'd be dribbling to the side, kind of like trying to find an open lane, and then KP will just be sitting there like, give me the ball. And Luka's like, what are you doing? Move. Like, what are
I
you
know.
doing?
Well, he's like KP would be standing in the lane that Luka's trying to
He's
drive.
wasting his space.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, but
No, yeah,
so a change of
definitely.
pace. KP can still play good. He's still a good ball player.
Yeah, he just needs
He
the
just
offense
needs a
to go
different
through him a little
style.
bit.
Like Washington's going to plant him under the rim and just say, just work from the rim and 10 feet out. That's all we need you to do.
They'll have a lot. They'll have a lot to do with KP. I'm sure they'll use him better than the Mavericks could. No doubt. That'll be interesting.
So let's talk what a colossal like crash and burn and collapse me and you kind of knew it was only a matter of time before this blew up in LeBron's face.
They just had too much. The Lakers, they gave LeBron too much power. And now this was the moment, because you know what happened, right, with the John Wall trade. So like they had a trade. They had a trade for John Wall. So the Lakers had a trade for John Wall. The Houston Rockets, they agreed to it. The Rockets did. They said, "Hey, listen, we will give you John Wall for Russell Westbrook, but you have to give us a 2027 first round pick." So 5 years from now. It's like the latest pick you can have. It's probably the last first round pick they had left to trade. The Lakers did. So
let me just get to something real quick.
Yeah, sure.
So the Kettle Dog says, did they ever finish the big dig up there, and did it help anything? Cat Dog, they finished it a while back, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And no, it hasn't helped the traffic. It still sucks. It still takes 2.5 hours to get into the city. It sucks. No, the big dig didn't do a freaking thing.
Dang. That's too bad. I don't know what that is, but
they moved enough earth to build an island, and it still didn't help traffic.
Wow. Yeah, it's that Northeast for you. That Northeast urban. But yeah, the Lakers had a trade in place. And for everything else LeBron wanted to do, mortgage their entire future, sell off everyone for what they had, they said yes, LeBron, yes, LeBron, yes, LeBron, yes, LeBron. But this one right here, they said, no, LeBron, you wanted Westbrook here? We're not going to give up a first-round pick 5 years from now when you're going to be 41. And then, this is it, LeBron. This is it. You made your bed. Now you have to sleep in it. This is what it is. You wanted Westbrook here. You chose Westbrook over Buddy Hield. So after that, no, they just don't have anything to say to LeBron anymore. They're like, all right, dude, this is it. If you can't win with this team, you're not going to win anymore. Then you're done. And there's people saying, oh, LeBron shouldn't stick around with this Lakers team. It's like, he's the one who made the Lakers team. He built this team. People were saying he should go to Cleveland. It's like, they just got over you. I bet they don't even want LeBron anymore. He's so old. But what do you think about this situation? That they could have had John Wall, but the Lakers said, no, we're not going to do this because we've mortgaged too much now. So yeah, they've given LeBron 4 years, and that's it. So it's I don't know. I don't even know what to think about the Lakers. I just think they're kind of a joke at this point. They're not going to make the playoffs, I don't think.
No, I don't think so either, dude. I don't think so either. I think
LeBron has to rest all the time now.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. He said, there goes LeBron. No, yeah, I don't think they'll make the playoffs, brother BKL. I don't think they will. I mean, if they do, they're going to get bounced pretty early. Westbrook is just not – it's not even his fault either, 100%. He is what he is. But he does a lot of the same things that LeBron does, only he does them worse. So you want LeBron doing those things. And then what does Westbrook do? He stands there. He's not good for an open shot. So it's just a disaster there. And honestly, this is LeBron's fault. They asked LeBron, who would you rather have, Russell Westbrook or Buddy Hield? They asked him that in the offseason. He said Russell Westbrook. It's your fault. It's your fault, LeBron. You might have cost yourself a 5th ring. I mean, I don't think you would have won another one anyway, but you never know. Like Buddy Hield, he could have, who knows? Buddy Hield's one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. And he chose Russell Westbrook. I mean, come on. What? This is your fault, LeBron. I don't feel bad for him at all. Zero sympathy. None. This is it.
Yeah, no doubt,
Coach,
dude.
Please.
No doubt.
Lakers passing. Yeah, this is your team, LeBron. 100%.
Yeah, it's the me and you knew like a while, like it was only a matter of time now before like all this came crashing down.
Well, he's been the GM for like since he was like 30 years old. Ever since Pat Riley told him to screw himself because he wanted Pat Riley to make certain trades, and Pat Riley was like, "Go screw yourself." So he said, "I'm going to go to Cleveland and tell them to make certain trades," and they did. And he trashed that franchise for 4 years. And they built themselves back up, and I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back.
Oh, no doubt, dude. No doubt.
Absolutely.
And yes, LeBron's head got massive. His ego his ego got massive, and it just like as soon as everybody started catering to him, that was it. That was the end game for them.
Oh yeah, exactly. And it only worked one time, and honestly, it didn't necessarily work. It worked for a title, and I guess that's all they care about. But they basically mortgaged 7 years for a title. That's what they did. They invested 7 years for one title. I guess that's okay. That's okay, but it's over now, I think. And I think that LeBron's pretty much done. I mean, 4 titles, it's pretty good. So, yeah. That's all I have to say about that.
I agree. Like it's I think LeBron's time is, I think we're finally starting to see like this is the end of his, this is the end of his career.
Well, Giannis is a lot better. Did you see that game, the Bucks versus the Lakers a couple days ago?
Yep.
Giannis is a freaking monster, man. Like he's unstoppable. He had 85% field goal. I mean, come on. It's over. I think Giannis is going to go back to back, man. If you gun to my head, if you had to make me bet, I'm going to go Giannis back to back. March is coming. I'm fired up for the MLB. Right on. I'm going to watch a lot more baseball this year. I haven't done it in previous years, but last year I started to get into it a little bit more, and it was fun. So I'm going to get into it. I'm going to watch a lot more games.
I don't think the MLB's coming. I think we're going to see a half a season at the I think they're not even close.
Oh, is it locked out right now?
They're still, yeah. I don't think
yeah, I think I did see that.
I don't think we're going to see a full season. I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
That definitely sucks. Excuse me. I keep burping. But yeah, man, the Lakers are a joke. The Suns, what is it? They're saying nobody respects them, and they're the number one team in the NBA right now, and they're not getting any press, and everybody's talking about the Lakers. I kind of agree with that, dude. Why is the media talking about the Lakers so much? We kind of talk about them, and the media talks about them as if they're going to make the playoffs. We're talking about them as if they're collapsing. It's like we are not the same.
Yeah.
But the Grizzlies are exciting. The Suns are exciting.
The MLB has never learned since 1994. They've never learned. The lockout, they've never learned. They're never. You're Cattle Dog. You're right. They're never going to get it right because the MLB is some of the biggest babies out, like both sides. The owners suck, and the players are the biggest group of babies out there. They're never ever going to be able to get it right because both sides have massive egos, and they're never going to be able to come to like a middle ground ever.
They need a salary cap, but I don't think it's possible. I really don't think it's possible.
No, they'll never do that ever. They'll never ever do that.
Because the Yankees, Red Sox, and Cubs make way more money, and the Dodgers make way more money than like every other team combined. So, explain the question on my last comment. I'm pissed off and frustrated. What was it? Speaking of which, what the hell is going on with the Knicks front office and Leon Ross? They didn't trade Kemba Burks. They probably couldn't find a good situation for him, and they probably only got a few because for instance, nobody wants Kemba Walker because he keeps getting hurt. And who is it? Burks. I mean, they probably just don't have the leverage, and they don't want to trade any picks. And I think the Knicks are kind of building around Mitchell Robinson and Randall and some of the young and Barrett and stuff like that. I don't think they really care about. I think that Kemba's a rental, and nobody really wants his contract. Well, how much is his contract anymore? I don't remember, but I don't see many suitors for Kemba Walker these days. He's kind of old, to be honest.
Yeah.
But, Bob or Bill says, wait, who said that? Hold on. Oh yeah, Bill says, Bobby, what do you think about Brad Marchand suspended?
It's warranted. The goalie made a good stop on him. You can't go over and cheap shot the guy after he makes a good stop against you. That's not cool.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely, man. Suns are huge in the Valley again, like they should be. The Suns are a good team, man. They're a real good team. They run really well. I think this is like one of the last years they're going to be as good as they are because of contracts and CP3's age, but they have a chance to make a real run at this. So I think they should be getting a lot of attention and everything. Like they're not. They just went to the finals. So yeah. Where's the respect? Come on.
No, I agree.
ESPN has an unhealthy obsession with LeBron James. They really do. It's like they like simp for him. It's really weird. It's kind of creepy, to be honest. They'll share every tweet he has.
No, I know.
Settle down. Let's see. But any other topics? Do you guys have any other topics in the chat, or we can definitely get into some other things? How are you feeling, my guy? Feeling some energetic, or what are you thinking?
I think I'm good. I think we hit on the stuff that I wanted to hit. I think I'm getting kind of tired too, man, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's always good to come on and talk to y'all. As you know, like I said, as long as we're feeling good enough to do this, I'm gonna do this.
Hell yeah, man. We fucking love you, bro. We do. I'm sure I speak for everybody in the chat when we say we fucking love you, man, and we're praying for you, and we know that you have the strength to kick the shit out of this thing and F cancer, man, for real.
Going like I said, going good so far. Everything's looking and going in the right direction so far. Even though it's early on, everything looks good so far.
Missy says, do you guys agree with Rodgers as MVP? I'm going to say no. It should have been Tom Brady.
Nope.
Or Cooper
I don't
Kupp.
agree with it at all. There were other guys that should have got it instead of him. Absolutely.
I'm going to go with Brady, too. Brady should have got it, in my opinion, but that's just me.
5,400 yards at 44 years old. Come on.
Hell yeah. No, Brady should have been the MVP. Rodgers, his per game average wasn't even that good. It was just, everyone just looks at touchdown versus interception ratio, and it's not always the case. You know what I mean? It's not always everything. So yeah, thanks, Bobby and JD. We love you, Bobby. We are going nowhere. We will walk you. Hell yeah, we'll be right with him the whole time. And I speak for everyone when I say we fucking love you, man. And yeah, we stand by you, and everybody's got your back, man. If you need anything at all, I'm sure we'll all be there for you for sure. Hey, JD, did you know that Floyd Mayweather?
But I think we hit on everything we needed to.
No, I didn't.
I think this is going to do it for episode 25, guys. Once again, I
26.
Me and 26.
Yeah.
26. I appreciate me and JD appreciate all of the support as always, guys. We will be back at it. Like I said, as long as I'm feeling good, we're going to continue to kind of keep this train rolling. And that's
man.
all we got for you. That is all we got for you tonight. But once again, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. We love y'all. Me and JD are out of here. Everybody have a good day. Good night. And we're gone, guys. Peace.
See red, bear the fuck down. Let's go.
Go Pats, go Bruins, go Celtics. And we will see you guys later.
Chi-Town City.
We out, guys. Peace.